Ready?
Yeah.
Welcome to the Crime Solver Podcast. I see we got people in here already. This is our first ever podcast, and we are here for you. What's happening? It's not on?
No, it's on. So we're good.
All right. I sorry, I got confused there. They were telling me we weren't on. Okay, we're live now. Awesome, guys. Listen, the Crime Solver Podcast, we will be here every single Thursday at 2 p.m. I got your messages. We will go over missing persons. We will go over cold cases. We will do this every day. Today, we're going to talk about the Idaho Moscow case. And the affidavit came out today, so we're excited. I'm Danny Miner. This is my co-host, Dave Komar. Dave is a retired police officer, too, Henderson, Nevada, and NYPD. And Dave, you were there on 9/11, correct?
Yeah, thanks, Danny, for having me as a co-host for this great podcast.
Listen, Dave, who else would I have on this show, right? We both know police work inside and out. They're lucky to have us with two experts here.
Absolutely. We're glad to share information. I know Danny's doing an unbelievable job every day sharing information about what's going on over in Idaho, and there's other cases that are coming out. I'm glad that the bad guy was caught. I know a lot of people have questions, and Danny and myself love to share information and kind of let the public know, how the police work and how people can get justice,
Yeah. Well, Dave, I think the biggest thing we got to talk about today, it was really, the affidavit was just released this morning. He got back in Idaho, I believe, yesterday, the accused, and the affidavit gave us a lot of information, Dave. One thing they said that really shocked me was one of the surviving roommates did see a suspect. She said he was about 5'10", bushy eyebrows. She said he had a mask on, but you think about it, could have been the pandemic mask. You know what I mean? Could he had that kind of mask on? I don't know. She said she actually saw him leave the house. She did hear somebody crying, and then she heard somebody say, "I'll help you," which is, it was crazy. It was totally crazy.
Absolutely. It's a scary situation. Could you imagine someone, you're a college student and you see some guy with a mask on? I think they stated in the affidavit it was the nose and the mouth. And then basically, it's 4 o'clock in the morning and someone's coming into your home. So it's a scary situation.
Yeah. And the other weird thing is we just discussed this. 4 o'clock, they ordered DoorDash, right? DoorDash comes at 4 o'clock. So the incident, the unaliving of the kids had to be after 4 o'clock. So it had to be sometime after 4 o'clock because of the DoorDash.
It's actually crazy if you think about it. The DoorDash guy could have been coming at the same time that it could have prevented a murder from taking place. Maybe the guy would have came back later as well. But it's just crazy that the time is so to the window that the DoorDash guy and this guy coming into the home was approximately maybe a 20-minute window. Yeah.
And the other thing is, I don't know if you watched, they stopped him twice on the way to Pennsylvania. He drove with his father flew to Idaho and drove across the United States with his son to Pennsylvania. They stopped him twice in Indiana. Now, the FBI is saying that they did them stops, okay? And somehow on one of the stops, they got his phone number. And they were able to ping that phone to see if it was around that area at the time. And I don't know if you know this, he left the knife case at the scene with DNA on it. Did you know that?
It's crazy because I guess, some people were saying that, he was trying to do the best murder case, because he studied criminology. But the whole point is that if he left the sheath with blood, he's not an expert. He left basically crime. He left his evidence, his DNA. The biggest thing that you shouldn't be leaving is the DNA if you're going to commit a crime, right? Yeah. So he leaves it there with the sheath,
right?
Which is it's incredible that he left it there, and it's great that it was DNA. So at least that these 4 souls get justice for this guy, that he got caught.
It's unbelievable, Dave. A lot of my followers on TikTok. I got almost 130,000 followers now on TikTok. Their biggest thing is, do you think he would have done this? If they didn't catch him, would he went on to be a serial killer? I think what he's alleged to do, I think there's a possibility. Because there's no link yet to the kids.
There's no link yet. I mean, they say, I was watching a psychologist talking about him in general, that he was awkward and maybe he was trying to talk with women in general. And there was some past, where one of the girls that basically maybe he tried to talk with or something happened. It goes to show you that even with kids being bullied, even being a little bit older, this particular man being bullied, that he went and became, a crazy guy, basically decided to kill people. But definitely because he was being bullied, in his mindset, he was being victimized by other people, by women, and maybe whether it was a control issue or just him not being mentally stable, that he basically committed these murders. But it definitely has to be a tie. He probably liked one of the girls, tried to ask one of them out. I'm sure text messages or in class, somehow there's some connection.
There's got to be a connection. He probably seen these girls. He likes them. Maybe he was awkward, but there got to be some kind of connection. Definitely. I would definitely say. And let me so we can take calls. We can answer your questions here, but we'll also take calls because this is a big day. Okay? We finally get this guy in custody, back in Idaho, so we can get some justice, right? We saw the affidavit. This is a big day. We want to know what you think, okay? Our phone number is 1-833-847-7227. 1-833-847-7227. You can call us direct or we'll answer your questions right here online. We'd like to hear from you, though. We'll put you live online.
I'm just going to actually put the phone number on TikTok here. 1-833.
We're getting the phone number up there right now, guys, and you could call in.
6947. If you want to call in, you can remain anonymous as well. You don't have to give your name or information.
You don't have to give your name. That's totally however you want to do it. Let's answer. Yep. That's the phone number there, guys. No, that's not the number, Dave. It's this number, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we got a call already. We got a call. Hello, this is Danny, the crime solver. How you doing today?
Good, Danny, man. I got a couple great questions, man, that I need to ask.
Okay.
Tell me when I can start.
Well, if you can give us your first name and where you're from, that'd be great.
My name's Billy, and I live in Washington, D.C.
Oh, welcome. You said Billy?
Yeah.
Okay, what's up, Billy? We're here. You're with Danny and Dave.
Okay, my first question. Danny and Dave, I know you guys are running a great podcast, so I'll be quick.
All right.
Listen, my first question is this, man. Can a dad be arrested for after the fact? Let's say his son drove from Washington to Pennsylvania, and in that car he tells his dad, you know what, Dad? I killed these girls.
I personally think that in Pennsylvania, if he did, I think he could be charged. Yeah, obstructing the justice is what it's called.
Yeah.
So, yes, I do think he could be charged.
In the police academy, we learned it's called after the fact.
Right.
He's telling his dad on the way, these cops are after me. I can't go by cuts on the hands. You can get cuts on the hands for anything, especially 4 weeks later.
Right.
That heals quick. The other question I got is this. This roommate keeps changing her story. Like, one time she's awake. Next time she sees somebody. How admissible is this in court?
I think they'll probably go after her credibility in court. I definitely think that because you're looking at, I read the affidavit, and correct me if I'm wrong. The way I read it, she sees a suspect, he leaves the house, he has a mask on, and then she still don't call the police for 9 hours later, right?
Exactly. And if you're a cop, sometimes you work both sides of the aisle.
Right.
Well, I'm not saying the guy's innocent by any means.
Right.
By any means is this guy innocent. But we're trying to get an airtight, full case.
Right.
So my other question is this. What will be admissible in court? And do you think that they'll cut a deal with this guy?
I think they will try to cut a deal with him if the family is okay with it. Just going through my experience.
Yeah, they have to go to the families, correct?
Yes. That's where I come from, Pennsylvania, they always run a plea deal before the family first. And if the family's not okay with it, they usually don't go with it.
Okay, so what if 3 say okay and 1 doesn't?
That's going to be up to the DA if he wants to still go with the deal. The deal would be not him getting the death penalty and just getting life in prison. That's what the deal's going to be. You know what I mean? If they have a deal.
Of course. All right.
So if he wants to save his life.
Yes, and one more question, I promise.
Okay.
The other thing I was concerned about that I saw today is the guy wasn't wearing cuffs in the courtroom, which just raked me because Ted Bundy escaped one time too. This guy's walking in the courtroom with no cuffs on.
Wow, I didn't even see that. I didn't watch it. That's crazy. They should have had him cuffed.
Just look at the tape.
Every
look at the tape. The guy's not cuffed.
Every agency is a little bit different with the protocol and stuff like that. But of course, the guy should be handcuffed if they felt there's enough law enforcement there. Sometimes certain agencies are cockier than others. But the bottom line is, of course, he should be handcuffed.
The guy just killed 4 people. I don't want him anywhere not cuffed.
Agreed.
Right. I agree with you 100%. Thank you. You have any more questions? You were great, Bill.
Take it back to me.
All right, no problem, man.
Bye.
Thank you. Sorry you guys couldn't hear that on TikTok. If you want to hear the callers, go to our mobile app, okay? You can still stay here, but go to our mobile app, thecrimesolver.com. Press watch live. You'll be able to hear the callers better. But what I'll do is when I get a question from the caller, okay, what I'll do is I'll relay the question before we answer it.
Good
for
point.
TikTok, okay? Sorry about that, guys, that we can't hear the caller on TikTok. But if you go to the mobile app, you'll be able to hear the caller, thecrimesolver.com.
Do you want to recap, even though we spoke about what he was
Yeah.
what he was saying?
What the caller basically said was, hi, everyone, Lisa. Who's it?
Lisa is the massage specialist. She's over in
Oh,
Las
okay.
Vegas. She's
Okay.
going to massage you to the, to
Yeah.
feeling really good.
Lisa, I want to do a shout out to you because you have the best spa in Henderson. I'm thinking of my hometown. Henderson, Hand and Stone Spa. Listen, you'll never get a better spa. Thank you, Lisa, for phoning and being a supporter of the Crime Solver. We appreciate you, Lisa.
By the way, technically, just to recap, if any of our listeners are out here,
Okay.
Hand and Stone basically is a massage place. Technically, they're kind of on the border, but it is in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And they're over at 1150 East Silverado Ranch.
Okay.
And she's a supporter of the Problem Solver and of Go Live Vegas, so we appreciate her support.
Yeah.
She's always also helping the community. I did something, a fundraiser once, and she was involved as well, so we do appreciate that.
Thank you, Lisa. Hey, listen, I want to recap what the caller said since you didn't hear it. He wanted to know why he didn't have handcuffs on in the courtroom today. We really don't know why he didn't have handcuffs on in the courtroom. He also wanted to know, if the father could be charged. I think the father, if he knew about this and they hide stuff, in Pennsylvania, the charge is obstruction of justice. I believe he can be charged if he knows. Okay? What was his other question?
He was just saying whether or not
Oh.
some family members don't want to take a deal, right?
Yeah.
Like just death, the death penalty or just life in prison.
Right.
If not all the family members agree, how does that work out?
Right. Oh, we got another phone call. Hey, this is Danny from the Crime Solver, and Dave's here also. Who do we have on the phone?
Hey, Dave, and hey, Danny. It's Casey calling from
Hi.
Florida.
Casey from Florida. Thank you so much. Where are you watching us at, Casey?
In Florida.
On Facebook Live.
On Facebook Live. Okay, perfect. So, listen, what's your question? And how's Florida today?
So Florida's a little dreary, but not going to complain. Still
Okay.
80 degrees, so
Okay.
we're good.
Well, you're better than Vegas today.
So my question, I have two questions. One is regarding the roommate, and I know the previous caller kind of touched on it, but what could account for the delay in calling the cops? And it wasn't in the affidavit, but do you think we'll eventually find out what was going on there?
I hope so. And let me tell my TikTok followers, because they can't hear you. Casey from Florida, her question is, why did she take so long to make the call after she's seen the suspect? Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I'm going to tell you, Casey, that's weird to me. I mean, if I saw somebody in my house with a mask on, I guess I would have locked. I'd have been scared just like her, but the next call would have been to the police. Am I right?
Sure.
I mean, I don't know. That's
It just
very
seems
weird
really
to me.
I mean, here's the story. I mean, a lot of people could be
Yeah.
also in shock. I mean, you could be really in shock. I mean, we think, we're retired cops, so it's a little bit different of what action that we would take. But the average person could be scared and could be hiding. Who knows exactly what happened in general? But I mean, some people could literally be in shock. It's like PTSD. People act in unusual ways. I mean, this definitely is unusual. We all want to know why she would wait so long. But it just seemed that maybe she was just scared so much, and she just went into hiding. She wasn't sure if the person was still there or not.
Yep.
So it's a crazy situation. You never know what you would do in this
Yeah.
situation, right? Like if you see a guy walking up at 4:30 in the morning, do you call the police? Where's her phone, right? A lot of people don't have landline phones anymore, so the cell phone maybe is in the room, so you just don't know how you're going to basically react. And also, are you going to retreat? Have you had any training? Have you ever had karate or self-defense? So we just never know. Like, what would you do in that situation? What do you think you would do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. My next question is regarding the DNA evidence that was covered in the affidavit for the sheath, the touch DNA.
Yeah.
Well, my question is around, so I watched a news report today that obviously he's going to, with his defense attorney, try to counter all of this evidence and provide his alibi or why it wasn't him.
Right.
So in theory, he could say, oh no, somebody stole my car, they used my phone, they stole that knife from me, right?
Right.
Is there any other I'm sure there's other blood evidence that they collected. So is that literally, I guess my question is, they have more evidence than just what was on the sheet. In your opinion, is that true? Will that come out to help support the case?
I would think there's more DNA evidence. I would say that was the start of it all, because what they wanted to do is probably get him in custody. My guess is, remember, he drove across the country and they were watching him. My guess is they were watching him because, now here's the thing, I think because they didn't have the DNA back. But once he got to Pennsylvania, they got the DNA back, and what we call it in police work is hitting the house. So that's when they hit the house.
So just to recap, they got the DNA from the father. They took the garbage out as well, out of Pennsylvania. So it did match. When they got the garbage, the DNA did match the father, which matches the son. But what's crazy about the thing is that in regard to the case, the blood was located on the sheet that's next to the two bodies. It wasn't like it was in the bathroom. It wasn't like in another room. I mean, it was next to the bodies.
Right.
I mean, you can't get that evidence any closer to the deceased people. So, I mean, why would the blood, even in a defense case, how do you say, why is the blood or the DNA on a sheet case next to two dead bodies? How do you explain that? There's no way of explaining that.
Right.
It's not like he cut his finger, and he lived in the house. He basically, he's a stranger. He's probably was never really in that house. So to me, like when we talk about defense case, and we've worked with criminal defense attorneys, how do you defend blood on a sheath with the edge weapon that was used?
But are we sure? Are we sure it was blood and not that touch DNA?
It could be that too, but it's still DNA. It doesn't matter if it's blood or anything. It's still gonna tie him to the case.
In the affidavit, it does say blood.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, those are my questions. I was just curious. I hope they have more DNA.
Oh, so do I.
We went also on the pillow or something.
And you said, where were you watching this? Did you say Facebook Live?
I'm on Facebook Live. Yeah.
How is it? Does it look okay? This is our first podcast, so we're making sure it looks all right.
Yep.
Okay.
Loud and clear.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much.
Stop, guys. Thanks for everything.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, guys. Do we have any more calls?
We got some messages.
Okay, I think they have some strong evidence. Jennifer's saying they think they have some strong evidence from Facebook. You can watch us on Facebook, Facebook Live also, thecrimesolver.com. I mean, The Crime Solver on Facebook. In case you're having problems with the app. They're saying they're having problems with the app.
With the app?
Yeah, they were saying they're having problems with it.
If you go to thecrimesolver.com, it says watch now. When you go to watch now, depending on what platforms you normally will watch, you can go to Facebook and TikTok and just look up The Crime Solver.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be an issue. You should be able to click on it and you use a password for that platform.
Thank you so much. Listen, we got more calls. If you want to make a call here, it's 833-847-7227. 833-847-7227. We're getting some great calls. Call it in. Awesome. Thank you, Lisa. We appreciate your support. Hey, there it is. I love the claps. Oh, I hear the sirens now. Listen, here's the other thing, guys. The biggest thing of this thing is I think the defense is their biggest defense is going to be going after the cops because there's nothing else. So they're going to go after the evidence. They're going to go after the cops. They're going to say the cops didn't do the right job because there's nothing else to go after. They got him. They got his DNA at the crime scene with the sheath. I mean, he's done. Oh, we're getting a call. We're getting a call. Hey, this is Danny from The Crime Solver. Who do we have?
This is Kathy. I'm from Missouri.
Kathy from Missouri. You're talking to Dave and Danny, Kathy, and thank you for calling. Where are you watching us on?
Facebook Live.
Oh, awesome. How's it? It looks good, Kathy?
Yep, looks good. Sounds good.
All right, thank you. Listen, what's your question, Kathy?
Well, my question is, they found a footprint or got a footprint close to Dylan's door in the house, and I'm curious if it is the same size as Brian's shoe print, like footprint, his shoe size.
Right. I'm sure they're going to do that. What they do is they'll cast that footprint. You ever see? I don't know. I this is a bad way of telling you how this works, but if you ever watch one of them goofy Bigfoot shows and they cast a print, they'll actually do that. They'll cast that print with concrete. And then they'll look at them shoes and try to find out what kind of shoe it actually is wearing. And then they'll do a search warrant in his house looking to find the shoe.
Sometimes there's also impressions, right? If it's Nike or Puma, you know.
I'm sure the shoe's gone, but is it the same size as his shoe size?
That's exactly what they're going to have to do. What they'll do is they'll cast that, and they'll have experts. They have experts in these FBI labs and these crime labs that could tell, if that would fit his shoe. They'll have an expert on that.
Okay. That was my question. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
I just wanted to read, from the affidavit, which I thought was really interesting. That
we got another call?
It flashes here when you get a call.
Yeah, I think it is,
one?
right? Yeah, I think there's another call coming in, yeah. All right.
Just I want to read this real quick. It says the evidence that was sent from the lab, it basically says that they obtained it from the trash.
Okay.
A lot of people will say, like, do they need a search warrant? A lot of times when people leave the trash right to the curtilage, right?
Right.
That a lot of times they could just pick it up. Sometimes they do get a search warrant as well, right?
Right.
To get the garbage and the debris. But it was very interesting that that's where the DNA profile came from. They obtained it from the sheath, identified a male. We got a call coming in.
Hey, this is Danny from the Crime Solver, and Dave's here also. Who do we have on the phone?
Trina from Louisville, Kentucky.
Trina, welcome. How are you watching us, Trina?
TikTok live.
Okay. Well, you're with Dave and Danny. What's your question?
I'm very excited. I've been trying to call for a few minutes.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're on, man. This case is so interesting. It shocked America. We can't wait to hear your comment.
I don't know if it's really more of a question or more so of a comment or a statement, I guess, maybe since you used to be in law enforcement. But
Okay.
I sat and I read through the whole affidavit, and everybody's talking about how there's all this stuff in there that's so, amazing, and I'm not discrediting the cops at all, but
Okay.
I feel like if I were a juror on this jury, and I know that more's probably going to come out, like
Okay.
maybe hopefully the 12th we'll hear more and stuff like that, but as of now, if I was a juror on this case and this is what I was presented with,
Okay.
there's just a lot of circumstantial evidence to me. Oh, he was driving around in the area at the time. Okay, that can be explained.
Okay.
His phone pinged off a tower at the time. That can be explained.
Okay.
What is this DNA that was found on that button of the knife cover case, whatever it's called? Is it blood? That would help,
Right.
convict him a little more. Is it his spit? If it's just touch DNA, his fingerprint, that can be
Right.
easily explained away. Oh, that knife was stolen.
Right.
I just feel like, I don't know if it in the cam footage when him and his dad were pulled over, I know that it's come out that they said that the FBI intentionally had them pull them over, which
Right.
I feel like was kind of common sense once
Yep.
we heard about it.
Uh-huh.
And they said it was because they were looking to his hands and stuff to see if he had injuries. I didn't see anything. I know there's a lot of speculation and everything, but I feel like unless it's blood
Right.
evidence or his spit that
Right.
was on there, and if that's the only DNA they have of him is that little, I don't know. I just
Right.
feel like we need to hear more.
Well, listen, I got to tell my followers here what you're saying because they can't hear us on TikTok. We got Trina on here, and Trina, if she was a juror right now, Trina's saying she would not convict him of what the evidence they have. Is that correct, Trina?
Yeah.
Even though his DNA's on the knife case that was left in the room?
That's why I said I think it would, as of right now, we don't know. That's what I said, as of right now, with what we're told. If it comes back that it's his blood and it's because he cut himself while stabbing one of them, then obviously that will be different. But if it's touch DNA, if they just have skin cells or it's his fingerprint, that can be, by his defense team, that can be explained away. Oh, somebody must have stole the knife. I was framed. It was really so-and-so. They're framing me.
I mean, they could make all kinds of different excuses, but the bottom line, for DNA to be on a sheath where an edged weapon was used to kill two bodies, I mean, there's no reason for that guy to be in the house. I mean, look, they could say all kinds of different things. He could say it wasn't me, someone dropped it off. What would be the, the motive of someone trying to get this guy in jail, So I'm sure there's going to be other...
Right. I don't know. I guess that, that's what's going to come out and what's going to play out. But, I mean, I just feel like...
Yeah.
That's why I think it's important that we know what that DNA was that was found.
Trina, I'm really glad you called and brought up this point because I've been saying this. It's hard to get 12 people to convict somebody. And that's why they plea bargain a lot because, I mean, you think you wouldn't convict him even with DNA. I mean, that just shows how everybody has different opinions. I mean, I'd convict this guy in a second.
I just feel like I couldn't, I just wouldn't, if I'm sentencing somebody to death, essentially, the death penalty case, let's assume they're going to go with that and go for it and not. Maybe the family will say, no, I will not accept that. We want him to get the death penalty.
Right.
The mom, Kaylee's mom, in that one interview, she seemed really stern, when she said, I'm glad we live in a death penalty state. She seemed stern on the fact that, no, we're not going to let him make a plea, death penalty or nothing. And if I was a juror, I would not be able to sit with myself and say, I mean, maybe he was, I don't know. I'm just
Trina,
guessing and assuming like anybody else. Maybe
you don't live in
one of the roommates, and that's why his phone pinged.
Trina, you don't live in Idaho, right?
No.
Thank God that you're not going to be on this jury. Because Trina,
No.
If you were on a jury, you're going to want to see the body right in front with the guy standing over him. You're going to be a tough juror.
Yeah, I feel like I studied psychology a little bit. I did like pre-college courses in high school, and I really wanted to be a psychologist, and I've just always, don't compare me to this lunatic, but I've just always been super infatuated with the brain and how people think, and I just, like you said, I think it goes to show, somebody will say, oh, yeah, that's his DNA there, that's his thumbprint, oh, yeah, he did it, even though there might be a reasonable explanation for why. So that reasonable doubt would just stick in my mind, and I would just,
Okay.
You never know.
Trina, thank you so much for calling. Please tune in every week, and if you have any more calls, please call in.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Well, Dave, what'd you think of that?
Listen,
Trina, I don't want her in any jurors, any jury cases. Trina wants, she thinks it's TV, I think. She thinks you have to have all this evidence.
What it comes down to is this. It's kind of like the O.J. Simpson case. Like, it has to go back to good policing, that the crime scene people did their job, right? You have all these people working on this case.
Right.
I mean, we got to hope there's other DNA and stuff coming in. Is there another call?
Do we get another call? Hey, caller, you're with Danny, the crime solver, and Dave. How are you today? And what's your name and where are you from?
I'm actually from Las Vegas,
Yay!
and my name is Pam.
Pam from Las Vegas. What's your question, Pam?
Okay, so I have a thought. The other day when they showed the video of the police responding with the footprint in the car and all that other stuff, I'm curious if you guys have thought about it or what you think about maybe his phone pinging on that day, or maybe the shoe size being his shoe size.
Yeah, I think they did ping the phone. Am I correct?
Yeah, I believe that's what it was.
Yeah, I think they
pinged. Did.
Yes, they did ping the phone, I believe.
But I'm curious to know maybe if it would have pinged on that day.
They were checking on that. They were looking to see if it was in the same area. So I was looking at the affidavit. They were discussing that they were trying to ping and see at the day and time. I forgot exactly what it stated about it, but they definitely were using the cell phone pinging.
That would be huge. That would be huge. And Pam, if they got that'll be huge. And the other caller talked about the footprint too. What they do is they're going to cast that footprint and see if it's the same size, and they'll do a search warrant in his house to try to get them shoes. Maybe he was wearing them shoes when they picked them up.
Exactly. And I don't know if you guys follow. She's called, Psychic Sleuth.
No.
She's on TikTok and she's done YouTube videos.
Okay.
She pegged him perfectly as far as his description and everything. This was like at the beginning of it. It's amazing. It's incredible. I think you guys should maybe check that out. I will.
Pam, do you have? Did you follow me here on TikTok?
I actually just followed you on TikTok. You showed up on my FYP.
Okay, could you DM me that video if you can? I'd appreciate it. I'd love to look at it after.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for the call, Pam, and please watch us. We're going to be here 2 p.m. every Thursday at Go Live Vegas Studio.
Awesome. You guys are great. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome, guys. We're getting some really good phone calls here. Pam wanted to know also about the footprint. And it was a real good question. That footprint, what they're going to do is they have experts in the crime lab. They could find out what kind of shoe that is. Somebody else, what was that? Why was he driving around and never went home after? That's true. I get. Does that say that in the affidavit? I don't remember if it did.
I didn't see that.
But if it is, I mean, that's suspicious, him riding around. Psychic Sleuth. Yep, I saw that. You know what? I did see a video. Maybe I did see it because I did see a video where they said the name Brian. I definitely did see that. He went home. Any more calls, guys? Call us in. We have the lines open right now. We have 833-847-3776. 833-847-7227. 833-847-7227. So, Dave, let me ask you something. If this was your kid, okay, you're the victim's family, would you ever go with a plea bargain, or you go, I'm taking it to trial?
You know, I think when it comes down to when the evidence comes out, more evidence, and the case comes out, it really depends what they have, right? And then what the defense may say, you know, to the prosecutor side, like, hey, look, you know, going back and forth. So it just really depends upon the evidence. If they have more evidence than just to drop a DNA, it would be great if this guy made a statement. I mean, I think with technology these days, with tracking him in the area and so on, I think that they will. I mean, I could hope that law enforcement will have a little bit more, you know, evidence than just that, you know, the DNA that's there. But it depends upon the evidence about taking a deal. But as you know, most criminal cases, imagine if every single criminal case went to actual trial, you would basically clog up the judicial system all over the United States of America. So like probably 95% of deals are negotiated.
Yes.
So it really depends. But since this case is such a high-profile case that they may go forward with it, but I'm also a little bit nervous because a lot of people know about the case, right? They could be a little bit tainted in regards to the jury, you know, that's there. They could be a little bit tainted. So it really depends how it goes. It's like playing a little bit of a game, you know? It's like, you know.
Yeah. Listen, we got people that want to call. They want me the number again. If you can put it in there, Dave, we'll put it in there. We'll put it in the TikTok chat. But it's 833-847-7227. 833-847-7227. You guys have great questions. We love this. I don't, you know, to me, that bothers me that she didn't call the cops either. I don't know. I'm sure this will all come out in trial. I hate bad-mouthing a girl that's a victim too. So I really, until I know the facts, I really don't want to bad-mouth her. But that makes me, I just think it's weird that you see somebody in your house and leaving a house with a mask on. You hear somebody crying and you don't call the police. That is weird to me. It's weird to me. We're getting a call. Let's see. Hey, you're talking to Danny, the crime solver, and my co-host Dave. Who do we have on the line?
Anna from Nashville.
Anna from Nashville. Awesome. I could tell the accent a little bit, Anna.
Great.
How are you doing today, and what's your question?
I'm good. I have a question kind of in defense of Dylan because everybody is on her back about why she didn't call 911.
Okay.
But we don't know who or when anyone called 911, correct? Because they haven't really actually released anything factual about 911 yet.
I think I could be wrong. But I thought they said it was like 9 hours later that they called 911 when they woke up in the morning.
Okay.
That's what they said.
I've read everything and gone over everything.
I don't think they put that in the affidavit, but I believe that came out. And I'm going to ask my followers if that's true because I don't know myself. I thought I heard that. Basically what she's saying out there, followers, is was the call really made 9 hours later? I believe it was. Yep, they're saying the call came in at noon. So
at noon, okay. I know I wasn't for sure if it was like been released what was said or who actually called it. If it was for a fact someone from inside the house.
Yeah, it definitely was somebody that called. It was one of the survivors. I understand these kids. They were victims. I mean, I really don't want to badmouth them either. I'm kind of like you. You know, I think it's weird that she didn't call for 9 hours, but I don't want to badmouth her because I know that poor kid's a victim also.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say anything about that. My daughter's in college right now, and she said that she would have probably been in shock, and she would have probably hid and been scared and not really know what to do, even though most people are saying, well, automatically call 911. She's 19.
Yep.
I mean, who knows? You got to remember one thing which is very interesting to share a little bit of a crime prevention tip, is that who knows where her phone was, right? And maybe she was afraid to leave and how long. Some people will hunker down. I'm not sure if you know this is a really big tip. I know we have about 1,500 listeners. But if you ever have an old cell phone, if you charge an old cell phone, you could always call 911. There's FCC rules and regulations where every old phone must call 911 even if you don't have service. So you should have old phones. Technically, a lot of people wouldn't do this, but for crime prevention, God forbid something happens, have old phones throughout the home that are charged. Keep it in the bathroom, keep it in different places. You can call 911. So any old phone, I know back in the day we had more flip phones, but you can call 911. So you should have old phones charged throughout the home. God forbid something happens, an emergency. I mean, it's a way of being prepared, you know?
Yeah, I never thought of that. I'm going to pass it on to my daughter because, she said she didn't know what she left her phone in the kitchen by mistake or something. And
also, I think everybody needs to be, I mean,
thank you for.
Oh, no problem. Listen, we're going to be here at 2 p.m. every single Thursday. It's going to be a call-in show, and we're going to go over different cases. If there's a case that you know of that you want us to go over, you can DM me through TikTok, okay?
Awesome.
All right.
Y'all.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate that. Awesome. All right, guys, I know people want me to read the number again. It's going to be 833-847-7227. We'll take the calls. Bring them in. Oh, we're done another call. Hi, it's Danny and Dave, the crime solver. What can we help you with? Name and where are you from?
This is Free Spirited Hippie, and I'm just trying to help you add me as a moderator so I can help you.
Hi, Free Spirit. I see you saying, what's the number? I have no idea how to make you a monitor. So if you can explain to Dave how to do it, that would be great.
Yes, I will.
Okay, do you have any questions?
No, I'm listening to y'all. I followed the case. I've read the affidavit, so I'm keeping up.
All right, we'll make you. If you want to post something, what do we have to do? Click on you to be the monitor, correct?
Yes. Well, you have to follow me back, and then you click on my name and add me as a moderator.
Okay,
That's it.
Sounds good. We'll do that.
Okay, and hi to everybody in the live.
All right, thank you. Thank you for calling. Okay, we still got more calls waiting here, but anybody wants to call in, it's 1-833-847-7227. 1-833-847-7227.
You know, someone was mentioning about what happened to the dog. I mean, I'm assuming.
Well, I think in the affidavit it says the dog was barking.
No, they
Right?
say,
Oh, we got another call.
where's the dog now?
Hey, this is Danny and Dave, crime solver here.
Hey, Danny, it's Charlie from back home, pal.
Charlie, what's up, brother?
Hey, man, look, the FBI was here 2 to 3 days in the Northeast before they got here.
Okay.
Also, in that affidavit, DoorDash delivered at 4:03 a.m. to that house.
Okay.
So, you know, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on out there.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to tell a lot of my TikTok followers cannot hear the call, so I'm going to repeat what you say. We got Charlie from Pennsylvania. He says the FBI was there. What'd you say, about 3 days before?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and were people talking about it, Charlie? And hey, it's good to talk to you, brothers. We can't wait 20 years to talk to each other again. And I'm going to buy you a beer when I get back to Hazleton.
Everybody knew that something was going on because, you know, around here they see these different cars and all these different people, especially in a little place with 175 people where that guy lived.
Yes.
That was it.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, he lived, I believe that exit's right off the Jim Thorpe exit. Am I correct where he lived, around that area?
It's a little bit past there, closer to more or less Hickory Run.
Okay.
But it's a gated community there. So.
Okay. Oh, wow, that's crazy. And listen, I just want my followers here to know that, Charlie, you started my law enforcement career. We caught shoplifters for a living. Remember that? We worked at a retail.
Oh, yeah, we had fun.
We worked at a retail store together, and we'd catch shoplifters. That's how I started. Right, Charlie?
Yes, sir.
Listen.
All right, pal. I just wanted to give you the info.
Brother,
Take care,
stay
man.
in touch, all right?
All right, bro. Bye.
All right, have a good one. All right, guys. That was a good question, man. And that's somebody from Pennsylvania in that area. And he's telling us the FBI was there 3 days ahead of time. People saw them. They knew it was happening. So that's good to get somebody, you know, from a voice from Pennsylvania that was there when this all happened. Remember, guys, the number is 833-847-7227. And this has been fantastic for our first show. Now, I know we probably had some glitches, and sometimes it's in and out. We will get better at this, but I thought it was pretty good so far for the first show.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure if there's any issues with the other platforms. If you go to thecrimesolver.com, click on Watch Now, there are different platforms. Someone's saying that some things aren't working. Seems like Facebook's working. We got a call that's coming in now.
Hey, it's Danny and Dave, the crime solver.
Hi, Danny and Dave.
Hey, what's your name and where are you from, if you don't mind?
My name's Alexa. I'm calling from Toronto, Canada, actually.
Oh, we got a call from out of the country. Yay, you're getting the claps. Listen, so what's your question?
Yeah, so I had two comments. I don't know if you've seen the TikTok video yet of two undercover cops basically being at the memorial, and them kind of looking back and forth at one another, walking by. I don't know. Do you know if that was in the affidavit at all with, like, the cell phone pinging, that he would have been near Moscow on those days?
I did not see that in the affidavit. I didn't. But that would make sense. Like, them putting undercover cops at the funeral, yes, I could definitely see that. Yeah, I could see them doing that. I would say that's probably true.
I mean, the thing is you never know what's going to happen. Go ahead.
Right. Well, there's a video on TikTok of two undercover cops kind of walk past each other. They look at each other, and one kind of follows Brian, or it's like supposedly Brian, around the corner. The other one kind of keeps walking the other way, but they kind of keep an eye on him the whole time. Yeah.
I guarantee you they do that. We used to do that all the time, especially like we used to have big protests and stuff. When we had protests, we always had undercover cops. Dave worked in New York City, so you had undercover cops everywhere, right?
You know, in New York City, when I was a cop, there's actually a specialized division where they would go out in that funeral and they would videotape, set cameras up to record all the faces. Same thing with license plate numbers. Like at the funeral, every license plate number probably was written down. They ran the plates. Same thing with photos, like who were there, who's this person. So, I mean, you got to do a little bit of recon, especially when a case is open, especially a murder case.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's probably this. My best friend is a cop in Toronto here, and I know, like, whenever there's police funerals, they will always surveillance whoever is going there, and I wonder if they were able to capture any sort of video or anything like that of his hands.
Yeah, I don't know.
Based on that.
I'm assuming that there's going to be more evidence come out. The affidavit, that's just to get the charges through, so I'm sure there's evidence that we don't know, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, we can only hope and pray that there's more.
I hope so. Honestly, I so hope so. Because I think it's the other question I think I had too is just because I saw on TikTok people were commenting and saying that his sister lives nearby or lived nearby. So I'm wondering if the defense will try and use that in any way to try and like refute that he was actually in the area at that time. Maybe he was at his sister's house, something along those lines.
I agree with you 100%. The only defense is going to be to go after the evidence. That's the only defense here. So because they're going to say he lived close by, right? There's DNA evidence that they have on him. So the only thing is to go after the cops and the evidence, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to go after the cops and the evidence, 100%.
Yeah.
Listen, thank you for calling from. Thank you for calling from Canada. We love when we hear people from out of the country. It's awesome. We appreciate the support.
You guys are doing a great job covering this. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye. All right, guys. Phone's open. 833-847-7227. Good. Yep, she had some good questions there. I mean, she did.
The only thing is we only can hope and pray over the next few weeks, and maybe when the case goes, they're not going to give out all the information most likely unless it goes to trial in regards to the evidence. But of course, if they did a search warrant at the father's place, maybe there's some other stuff that was left there, whether it's the shoes, whether there's other items. We can only hope there's other things. Calls coming in.
Oh, we got a call. Hey, this is Danny and Dave from the Crime Solver. Who we have on the phone? Name and where you from?
Yeah, my name's Matthew. I'm from Austin, Texas.
Matthew from Austin, Texas. Listen, Matthew, are you going to be mad at me if I tell you I'm a Philadelphia Eagle fan? You're not a Dallas Cowboy fan, are you?
You know, I am actually, my dad's from Philly, so I grew up an Eagles fan. I'm still an Eagles fan.
Awesome. Then listen, I love you already, man. What's your question?
Yeah, so I guess really my only question, and I guess it's more hypothetical, but, you know, everybody says, like, you know, innocent people don't run, but how do you actually tell the difference between, you know, like somebody that's innocent and then somebody that's guilty just trying to, you know, say, hey, look, I'm innocent? I guess, like, what are things that you look for, and have you seen that at all in this case?
You know what? To me, I don't think he was running. I think he was concerned. This is my opinion. Like, I have no facts of this. But what I think he was doing was he was trying to get rid of that car because he changed the license plate. He wanted to get that car out of Idaho. And I thought he'll make an excuse because it's college break. He can go back to his parents for Christmas. So his excuse is going back to his parents for Christmas. That's my feeling about it. But I don't know if I'm right. That's just my theory.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you?
I guess. Yeah, that does. But I guess really more tangible, you know, actions or things that people say, I guess, can either incriminate or exonerate. Right. And I guess that's what I'm looking for. Like, you know, do people that are innocent, do they kind of act a specific way? And I guess. I guess that's kind of more where
I would think him. Okay, the biggest thing with him is he definitely. I mean, he has all the things about acting suspicious. I mean, you change your plates right after this happened because he's afraid somebody got his plates. Then he tries to get the car out of the area. So my thing is, I think he was acting suspicious. To me, if I'm a juror and I listen to that, I think he was acting suspicious. But that's just me. If we had Trina from the last call, 3-4 callers away, she could see him at the crime scene with the knife and still not convict him. I don't know if you heard her.
I did.
Oh, my God.
Awesome. Well, that's all I had, man.
All right, thank you so much. Please watch this 2 p.m. every Thursday.
You know, it's interesting.
Yes, sir. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
You know, it's interesting. I just want to share Danny because I know Danny's on, every day talking about these different cases.
Right.
And there's some people that are haters, some people that came in from TikTok as well. But the bottom line is, look, we're trying to, the goal with Danny and the Crime Solver is to kind of just give some of our opinions, ideas, and suggestions. We weren't there. We weren't truly to know exactly what took place. I mean, we read the affidavit, we're talking about things, but a lot of people have some great questions in general. So the bottom line is we weren't there. We don't totally know what took place, but we're going to share our opinion. I mean, I was a cop for 17 years. I was a New York City police officer. I worked out here in Henderson for 13 years, out in Vegas. Danny's got 27 years of experience. So,
got a call. Hey, you're talking to Dave and Danny from the Crime Solver podcast. How can we help you? And name and where are you from?
What's going on? I am Jay from Chicago.
Jay from Chicago. Is it cold, Jay, in Chicago today?
Oh, it's chilly. It's chilly.
So what's up, Jay? What's your question?
Really, I guess my only question is what. So I understand, no hate towards DM, no hate towards the roommates. My only question is, what could have been the only possible scenario she was going through to not call for 9 hours? That's my only assumption or question.
I agree with you. And you said Jay, right, from Chicago?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to give this. My TikTok followers aren't hearing the line good, so I want to. Jay from Chicago's question is, what's going to be the excuse or what's the reason she didn't call for 9 hours? And I'm with you. I don't get it. I don't want to shame her either because she's a victim. You know what I mean? And I don't want to shame her, but there's got to be a reason. We just don't know.
It just doesn't add up. I just don't know.
I mean, I would have been scared to death too. I mean, I'd have locked myself in the room just like her, but my next call would have been to the police.
Right, and then maybe that's why he came back the next morning to maybe tie loose ends or to grab his sheath. I don't know, but that was my question. So I appreciate you guys today.
No problem, Jay. We're going to be here 2 p.m. every Thursday. Thank you for calling.
One last thing, another comment came in. If you're a female or male, like I said, and a murder or something scary is about to take place, you may hide, basically until you feel it's really safe. It could be hours later. I don't think there's any connection personally between that guy and the girl. Right. I think that basically she was scared and basically just hunkered down. Call's coming in a second right now.
Oh, we got another call. We're going to get it. Hold on, caller. We're going to answer you in a second.
Like I said, we just don't know.
Hi, this is Dave and Danny from the Crime Solver podcast. Name and where are you from?
Hey there, I'm from Arizona. How are you doing?
Arizona in the house. Good. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing great. I was wondering, is this only to talk about the Idaho murders?
No, you can talk about something else. You have something else?
Yeah, I had a coworker disappear many years ago. Her name was Katie Eggleston. And she disappeared, and no one has been able to find her. We've done as much as we can with all the information that we can. But at this point, it happened almost 30 years ago.
Oh, my gosh. We would love to maybe get you on the podcast. Even if you don't come to Vegas, we could Zoom you in and we could talk about this case. If you could, I don't know.
That would be fabulous.
Do you follow me on TikTok?
I do.
Okay, if you could DM me through TikTok, or Instagram, I'm Danny_Minor MINOR in TikTok. In Instagram, and you could DM me and we can get in touch with you that way and we could do it. And I'll review the case.
Let me just add that
as
well.
That's awesome. Thank you.
If you go to the crime, probably later today, if you go to thecrimesolver.com, there'll be a new section there. It's going to be called Missing Persons. You could fill in all the information. You could add photos as well. It's not up right now, but it will be later. So you add all the information, and then we basically will follow through. But if you have photos, we could post it. We could talk about it. So later on today, I'll say on thecrimesolver.com, there'll be a tab, Missing Persons. Fill it out with all your information, and then we'll contact you. We could figure out a way maybe to promote it or show pictures, and we can bring it on and talk about it. So any type of missing persons crime nationwide is what we're going to be covering on the podcast weekly.
Yep. Thank you so much for the call.
Awesome.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you bet.
Okay.
Thank you.
You have a great day. Listen, we got about 9 minutes left, and I just want to say something because we did get some comments here on Twitter. Listen, this is America. We all have the right to talk about this case. We're not shaming any of the victims. I feel bad for these girls. It's just a question that we're all going to have in America. Why did it take 9 hours to call the police after you see somebody in your house with a mask on? I mean, that's just a normal question that people ask, and this is America. We're allowed to ask that question. Hi, this is Danny and Dave. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. What's your question? First, what's your name and where are you from?
John Alexander. I'm in Port Charlotte, Florida right now.
Hey, John. How are you today? What's your question?
Good. Hey, I used to live in Chicago a number of years back, and we had a friend out there that actually went missing for quite some time. It turned up dead, and I was just wondering, how to kind of get on the case and kind of work towards trying to find out who did it. Is there any way that you guys could point me in the right direction?
Yeah, you know what? That's a good question. We just had another caller that too. We are going to put something on our app, thecrimesolver.com. You're going to be able to go in there, fill it out with missing persons. We want to get these podcasts out there because you can bring these cold cases in the light. When you get them in the light, the cops may pick them up again and start looking. So that's our biggest thing. So if you want to do that and fill that out in our app, and then we'll get back to you, and we might actually zoom you in on one of our podcasts. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right, man. Thank you. And keep following us, 2 o'clock every Thursday.
By the way, if any of you guys want to support us in general, go to thecrimesolver.com. There's a bunch of different tabs. Like I said, missing persons will be on there later this evening. So if you know of any missing persons, you can upload photos and videos, and we can basically do everything possible to help out. And then again, we also have, if you want to support us, we also have some merchandise, shirts, and stuff like that.
Okay, we got another call. Hi, this is Dave and Danny. Who's this, and where are you calling from?
Hi, Dave and Danny. This is Vicky from Chicago.
Hi, Vicky. I think this is our third call from Chicago. Welcome. How are you doing today, Vicky?
Nice. We got a lot of nice people from Chi-Town over here.
Yeah. So what can we help you with?
Okay. So I mean, we've spoken about ad nauseum about the roommate, the one of the roommates being in shock, with the killer, walking by. But I'm curious to know, there were 7 hours from when she saw the person exiting. She didn't even lock the sliding door afterwards. How can we make sense of this? I'm still I'm not accusing her. I'm just really curious. I mean, I survived an attempted murder.
Oh my gosh.
On myself. Yeah. And it was a fight or flight. Adrenaline flew through my body, and I knew I had to escape. I had a broken nose. I was severely beaten. And I managed to run a half a mile and then call 911 at a gas station while my head was shaking.
Oh, my God. I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Well, me too, but you know what? I'm here to tell you the story.
Yeah.
So
thank God.
It's not, right. I'm just curious. I know these are children. I'm in my 40s, so I mean these are kids. So like I said, I'm not accusing. I just find it very odd. I think there's some information we're missing here. Could it be possible? You guys think we're missing some pertinent information?
I agree, and I'm going to let Dave handle this also. I think we're definitely missing information. I don't know how you don't call the police. I don't know. People are saying when she was drunk and passed out. I don't know. I've been drunk sometimes. If I saw somebody in my house, I'd still call the police. I don't know. It's weird.
One thing that we say in kind of in the police world, like you never want to kind of quarterback another police officer because you weren't there, right? Like you didn't see the gun, you didn't see the knife, you didn't feel the fear, when something took place when there's a officer involved shooting. So we want to give her the benefit of the doubt. We don't know. I mean, if it's going to come out, it's going to come out. If there's some type of relationship or if she knew him for some reason, eventually it'll come out. But I mean, again, people go into shock, and what you do in shock is different from you and me. For me and Danny, when something like this would happen, we're going to go into action because we have training. We're trained that when something happens to take action. It's muscle memory. So a young girl basically doesn't have any muscle memory. She doesn't have any major training. So again, I don't think we should really quarterback her that much. It's an unusual situation, and eventually it'll come out.
Oh, I certainly hope so. Do we think? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the evidence against Brian Koberger is stacking up here.
I agree. I think he's going to be convicted easily. Unless Trina's on the case. I don't know if you heard caller Trina.
You know, one of the questions,
yeah.
one of the big questions that came in also as well is like, why wouldn't he kill her? You know, that's one of the big questions as well.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Danny? What's your thoughts? You know, you better take a guess. Again, we're speculating and we're guessing here.
This is my question, and this is a good question. I'm going to put it out the TikTok. Why didn't he kill Dylan if she saw him? My biggest thing here is I think it didn't spell out that he saw her. It said that she saw him. If he saw her, it might have been a different story. That's what I think. It wasn't spelled out that he saw her. So maybe she was like looking through the door, saw him. You know what I mean? So that's what I think it was.
Sure. And, you know, here it leads me to my next question for you guys.
Okay.
Do you think she's in some sort of protection? I mean, he's obviously in jail at the moment, but I mean, there has been some speculation that there might have been somebody involved. I'm not even going to go into that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying just for today, do we think that she's got some sort of protection, or how does that work?
I don't think so. Not that he's in custody, I would say no. If he wasn't in custody, they might have put a cop at the house.
I mean,
she's done that.
She could definitely be going through mental health issues right now. I mean, think about it. If you just had traumatic experience, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she could literally be like in somewhat hiding, but like kind of from her own mental health, you know?
Right. Listen.
Wow. Well.
Listen, please watch us every Thursday. We love your questions. Call us anytime.
Okay, great. Thanks, Danny and Dave.
You're
Thanks so
welcome. Bye-bye. Listen, we're going to wrap things up, Dave. We have 2 minutes left. We're going to be live here 2 p.m. next Thursday. Of course, probably in the beginning of the podcast, we're going to have to go to Idaho a little bit over it, but we're looking for other cases. We're going to go over to John Benet Ramsey, Tupac Shakur case. We are going to do it. We are going to bring these cases to the limelight. That's why we started this. That's why we're here. We love our followers, and please continue to follow us. Dave, you want to end it on anything? Because people said I didn't let you talk enough. Did you see that?
Danny's always talking way too much, right? You agree. No, I just want to share one thing. If this is the first time we're doing the podcast, and if there's any issues, some people messaged me a little bit that there was some problems. We have one call. Let's do one more call.
Let's do one last call. One last call, guys. Hi, this is Dave and Danny. You are our last caller for the day. What's your name and where are you from?
Hi, this is Becca, and I'm from Maryland.
Hi, Becca from Maryland. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I came in kind of late, so
That's okay.
I apologize if you all have already discussed this. But
that's all right.
Do you all? I don't think that this is his first time.
Okay. I'm gonna announce this to my TikTok followers because they can't hear. Becca said she does not think this is his first time. Becca, I tell you, in the beginning of this, I would have said you were probably wrong, but I'm starting to think that's something they got to look into. I agree with you. The stuff he did and is accused of is stuff that a serial killer does. I totally agree with you.
To go in and slaughter 4 people.
Yep. I'll tell you what they're going to do, and I'm just giving you my experience. They're going to send this out to other police departments to see if they have anything close to this. You know, if it resembles a case like this, because I think definitely. All right?
We appreciate the questions.
We appreciate it. We're going to end the show, right?
One last thing I want to share. TheCrimeSolver.com. Any issues that you've had on any of the platforms, you can go to comments on TheCrimeSolver.com. Let us know what's working, what's not working. There's merchandise if you want the Crime Solver shirts and stuff like that. Go online. We're also going to have sponsors as well that want to help support us. If you want to support the Crime Solver, we're going to be doing a lot of different projects and programs to help people, missing persons specifically. So I'm glad that came up because we want to deal with missing persons. So anyway, take it away, Danny.
One last thing. I got so many comments on my phone about merchandise. Okay? We actually didn't wear it yet, but we had it at our house. We forgot it. But the Crime Solver hats, shirts, go to our app. You can buy the merchandise, 15% off all week. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next Thursday, 2 p.m.
you to get the full picture of what happened. The real world is sometimes complicated and messy, and so can be criminal justice system. My name is Ryan Helmick. I'm a criminal defense lawyer here in Las Vegas.
Vegas Studios, a unique multi-camera social media virtual content creators paradise. We offer high-end services using live streaming and film production for your personal or corporate, commercial or event and campaign needs. Pre-record or live stream to your audience on multiple social media platforms simultaneously. Fun and interactive with social media comments, phone lines, live remotes, audio Foley sounds, and Snapchat filters. Be creative, get recognized, and make money. We help you by providing an all in-house production team. Visit our website at golive.vegas.